Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to the second episode of Commenting on Comments. Now, in this sort of style video, what I'm gonna aim to do is I'm going to touch up on comments that are frequently said on my videos, and I'm also going to choose bad things and good things and talk about them, not necessarily about my opinions, but try and explain certain things that I feel may not have been understood properly or misinterpreted by the viewers, or certain viewers at least anyways, as well as try and explain certain things that I feel maybe I didn't explain properly in the video, or, you know, messages that may have not gotten across. Obviously, I'm also going to cover things that are positive and things that I like, so I'm just going to do a mixture of things. And so, the first thing I wanted to cover really briefly, for those that did not watch yesterday's video, I do know that in certain videos I can sound somewhat robotic, maybe talk slow, but that's because whilst I do, I suppose, speak English to a sort of a fluent level, the simple fact is I was not born in an English-speaking country. This is my second language, and I've had to learn it from scratch, you know, and sometimes the words just don't come to me, and you know, sometimes I do these videos very late at night after coming from work, and that's just me. I mean, I'm going to work on it and try and improve on that. That is a personal aim. I don't know if it'll happen. I hope it does. You know, I always seek to improve myself. But going on to the next one. Now, I can't remember. I think it must have been, I think it was about, it was either this week, at the beginning of this week, and the last week I kind of let out two videos. One was to show people one or another method of killing the Ice Titan and the Forest Titan. Now, in that video, or in those videos to be more specific, I show off my Super Rex army. Now, that is a bred Rex army, and I bred those guys for stat mutations. Now, a lot of people said it's not achievable, that I cheated the game somehow, as if I spawned them in, and not obtainable on official servers and all that stuff. So this is going to be one of the main topics for this particular video. Basically, the simple fact is it is obtainable on servers, especially official servers, because those stats were primarily gained through mutations, guys. It's just that simple. It's mutations. I'm going to explain the process, and I'm guessing this video will be slightly longer, but it is obtainable. So let me start with the beginning, the taming of the Rex that you are going to breed. This is quite important, and I didn't really cover it in my guide for mutations. I suppose I automatically assumed that people would have thought of that. It's quite logical. Now, for me, to get the initial pair to breed for mutations, I reckon I tamed somewhere around 400 to 450, 150 perfect tamed Rexes. Now, the taming was done on 2 times, so that was designed to mimic the official server's taming speed. Obviously, it's normally 1, but on weekends and special days and events, they do up it up to 2 times. So I did it with that, did it with Kibble, without the use of any mods or anything. Although the mods were on the server, I did not touch them. And so out of those 450 Rexes, I eventually found a Rex that had a crazy amount of HP. What is crazy? Well, it had 11,880 HP after tame. Now, that is a very, very good stat. I'll explain how that works in a minute. And the other stat that I wanted to breed was, of course, damage. So I think this one took the longest, to be fairly honest. I was initially aiming for a Rex with around 500% damage, and yes, this is totally possible. You'll see in a minute why. But I did not have the luck, and after about 400, 450 Rexes, I kind of settled for what I had, which was a Rex that had 402.2% damage. Now, I'm just going to briefly cover how the stat allocation works in the game. Now, all level 1 dinos of the same family, so let's say Rexes for this, will have the exact same stats at level 1. When they gain in levels, the game will attribute a point into a random stat. Now, this is completely random, so that means at level 150, if I'm not mistaken, the game will have attributed 149 points into random stats. When you're looking for a Rex that you want to breed for a specific stat, let's say HP, you want to find a Rex that already has from the game, or the game has given most of those points into HP. So that's how I got the Rex to have already as a starting base HP of 11,880. Same thing applies to damage. Obviously, this means you will be taming a ridiculous amount of Rexes before you even start. This also gives them the best start before you even start breeding for mutations. Now, there is a catch. At 150, the game will have already attributed a random amount of stats, the number of levels into stats randomly is what I meant to say. But then when you tame it, if you do a perfect tame on a 150 where you get, say, 73 to 75 levels, the game again will attribute those levels into random stats. Very, very randomly. So you can end up with a Rex that looks promising in HP. Once you've tamed it, the game will have just screwed you over and put most of those points into food or stamina or something that you don't really need, therefore making that Rex worse than a Rex that probably got hit once or twice or even 3 times by a Pegomastax. It's just that simple. So that's why it took me about 400 Rexes until I actually found something that I wanted. Obviously this was time consuming. So with that out of the way, from the breeding numbers that I did calculate, and I did go back on my previous video to see what was what and kind of give you guys the facts and figures. Now on the HP mutations, the Rexes got hold on, let me see where I put it down, because I wrote it down. I cannot remember all these numbers. So yes, per HP mutation, the Rex got 440 additional HP, also gained 2 levels. But by the end, and what I mean by the end is when I reached the full 20 of 20 mutations in a ancestry tree, so that would be either the patrilineal tree or the matrilineal tree, the Rex will have had 20,680.1 HP. That was before any form of imprinting. So, you know, that is a ridiculous amount of HP. Remember, there was no imprinting done on any of the Rexes up to this point. The damage mutations got anywhere between 11.7% to 11.8% in damage. It depends, I suppose, to the decimals and how it rounded it up. But at 20 damage mutations in one of the ancestry trees, the Rex ended up having 637.4% damage. Again, before any form of imprinting whatsoever. With imprinting, these stats ended up looking like this. The Rex had 24,816.1 HP and 763.2 in damage. So that's percentage, of course. So this is what the stat on this Rexes look like. Now, you cannot, to my knowledge, or I haven't found the configuration for this, but you cannot modify what a Rex gets or a dino gets per mutation. This is what the game has and offers you. And as you can see from those stats, it's already pretty darn OP. Now, do bear in mind that all dinos are able to level up 73 levels. At 763.2% in damage, you don't really need to invest that many levels into getting it to 1000% damage. Regardless of what the counter is, it doesn't matter because it's a percentage, you know, and so you don't need that many points invested, leaving you with a ton of points to invest in HP. So getting a Rex with anywhere between, let's say, for argument's sake, 70 to 90, 100,000 in HP is totally obtainable on official servers. Obviously, it all comes down to a factor of luck, depending on how many points the games has attributed into those stats. If you had more more points attributed into HP, and say you managed to get a base Rex with, say, 13,000 in HP after tame, so that's a 150 perfect tame Rex at 13,000. That makes a big difference. That will contribute to the end result. Same thing applies to damage, and that's what a lot of people didn't get. They thought that I somehow, I don't know, did some maneuvers in the server stats. No, I didn't. The only thing that I did to the stats of the server was to increase the speed of the breeding, so basically reduce the amount of time dinos have to wait before they can breed again, and increased the speed at which the dinos mature. And that was pretty much it. Everything was pretty much standard. And obviously, I've also been accused, which I kind of found quite funny. I also was accused of doing it in single player. Well, no, it was actually a server, because I'm going to transfer it, or you might have seen it. I attempted to transfer the mutated Rex eggs from the Ragnarok to Extinction. Obviously, it took me a bit of doing, but it is doable. You can transfer them, so that saves me a bit of work and kind of sets me at a fast pace and able to progress quicker. But that's a different thing altogether. Now, of all the people that made these comments, to be fairly honest, there were actually only 2 people who actually realized that, yes, it's possible, yes, it's doable on official servers, and those are, of course, Maya Patch and I'm probably gonna butcher this name, Dosa Laszlo. Now, these guys have done breeding and they know what it's about. Of course, it's very difficult to get these stats on official servers, because a Rex takes about 7 days to mature before you can breed it again. To get a mutation, that's a 2.5% chance, if I'm not mistaken. So it will take a very long time. But even so, from those videos, what people can conclude is that a Rex with around, or an army of Rexes with around, let's say 65,000 HP to 70,000 HP and 1,000% in damage can still take on both Titans with fairly great ease. You might lose 1 or 2, but if you have the base parents, you can then breed them again and get some more eggs and hatch them, and it's not really that big of a loss, honestly. So this was the main topic that I wanted, of course, to cover, because there seems to be a bit of a controversy with, is it doable or not? Well, it is. It is, because in terms of leveling up, I'll say it here now. I have the exact same stats or settings. Jesus Christ, English. I have the exact same settings as the official server, so when you put a point into anything, it's basically meant to mimic that. Now, the only difference being you gain XP faster on my servers, because I do want to reduce grinding so that people can focus on the fun side of things. Building. I personally love building. I hate grinding for things. Breeding. I love breeding. Whilst it is time consuming, I still love it, but I do like that sort of thing, and I find it fun. I personally hope that the information provided in this video, for those that do watch it, will be of use and informative for those that want to get into breeding. It is fun, it is time consuming, but the end result of what you can obtain, I feel and believe, is totally worth it. And if I was on official servers, to be fairly honest, I would do it. The only thing is, if I were to do that on official servers, I would probably never make videos because it can take that long, and so that's why I've opted to have my own servers. I can do things at a faster pace, which of course allows me to put out more videos and focus on other things as well as tutorials. Now, with regards to Extinction, which I have just started playing as a series, one of the things I will want to do, of course, is I want to do a lot of breeding. So what am I going to breed? Well, I am going to breed Argentavis for a start. That's a must for me. I always wanted to do that, and I think there are some amazing color mutations. Obviously, I'm going to breed them for stats, so I'm probably going to go for HP, damage, and carry weight, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to combine those. The other one that I do want to breed is the Snow Owls, maybe Gotchas. I don't know if they're breedable, but I'll find out. Maybe the Managarmers as well. Why the hell not? They're pretty darn cool, and I actually like them a bit more than the Wyverns, which is weird because I do love dragons. And the Wyvern shape for dragons are my favorite design. That, you know, I always see Wyverns as a quadrupedal creature. You know, the ones that have 4 feet and wings, those are basically creatures that have 6 feet, because the 4 feet, the forward facing feet, turned into wings. At least that's how I look at it from a anatomical point of view, which is why I prefer the ones that basically have the wings at the front and feet at the back, because I think they're just more accurate to what could have been if it wasn't fantasy, basically. We don't really know or have any creatures, mammals, in terms of mammals, like that have 6 pairs of feet. Sorry, 3 pairs of feet. Jeez, my numbers are bad today. Anyways, yeah, so that's why I prefer them. Obviously, as you saw, or maybe didn't see, I don't know if I showed it properly, but I did try and bring in a Wyvern egg just to see what would happen, which did not make it through. But I did get the Rex egg, so that saves me the breeding. However, I still think I wanted to breed me some Tech Rexes. Now, with the Tech Rexes, of course, I don't think I'll be keeping the color mutations, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you can color the Tech Rex however you want and it'll look alright. So there's no point in keeping the color mutations. I'm going to go again for stats, and again I'm probably going to go for HP and damage. Now I know that the Tech Rexes are of a slightly higher level, and so that's good enough reason for me to breed those guys. With regards to breeding other stuff, I don't know, what else could I breed? I mean, I'm also looking at things that would be enjoyable to breed and also beneficial in terms of, say for example, an Argent is, I suppose, the best way of getting around. It is more powerful than an owl, and of course I will be looking at breeding the owls as well. Oh yes, of course, I remember now. I'm definitely going to be breeding Daedons. I do want me some Daedons, which I'm going to use for the orbital supply drops and the element nodes. Now, I know people are going to say, why not owls? My only thing with the owls is they fly, which is a good and a bad thing, but I think it's a bad thing for the supply drops and the corrupted node, the element nodes, whatever they're called, because by flying you're going to aggro the corrupted wyverns. Those things are of a ridiculous level and do a lot of damage. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the Daedons as healers for my Rex army, which I am looking forward to breeding. The Rexes being taller than me should then take the aggro off of me from the wyverns and all the other flyers. Don't forget there are pteranodons there are dimorphodons, so there's a lot of stuff that I can avoid by just being on the ground. I'm obviously probably going to consider using some Velonosaurs, which I probably again will breed. I don't know if I'll take it to extreme levels in terms of stats. Those are just to for me to set as a creature to aggro the incoming creatures, so that my army of Rexes go forth and pretty much demolish. At least that's my calculation. I don't know if it'll work, but you know, I suppose it'll be one of those trial and error kind of situations. And as a final thing, I'm going to cover another comment, and I guess the person that made that comment kind of missed the point of the video. In one of the videos where I show how to kill the Ice Titan with the use of the Mana Garmer, that was obviously designed for servers. One person commented, and I'm not going to mention names, it's not a name and shame situation, told me to do it legit without God mode and all that, but the person kind of missed out the point of it. Now, the video was of course designed into sections. The first section was to show you how to do it with a friend and how to avoid all other damage that the Ice Titan can dish out. And the second part was a test to see what a primitive fabricated sniper rifle would do, how many sniper rifles it would take, how many bullets. Obviously, whilst I'm on the topic, I did notice that there is somewhat of a difference between the quality of the weapon that you use to take out the nodes. I have tested primitive and ascendant sniper rifles, and it seems that although they both show 1 as damage done, the game somehow keeps track of the power of the weapon, the damage of the weapon. I'm not quite sure how to explain this, but basically, long story short, a ascendant fabricated sniper rifle will take out the nodes far faster than a primitive. That means you will use a lot less ammo. That means you will also need a lot less weapons. So I can't remember how many simple fabricated sniper rifles I needed, but it was a ridiculous amount, so do bear that in mind. I have tested it with a lot of things, and it's for the same reason that with the Desert Titan it's recommended that you use the lightning to take out the corrupted nodes, as that does quite a decent amount of damage. And so yes, very interesting. I don't know how the system and mechanic works fully, to be honest, but yes, it does seem to somehow keep track of the damage being done, despite the fact that it shows just 1. So that's it from me for this video today. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed it. This is the second commenting on comments video, and this is more of a trial thing. We'll see what people like it, but if people like it, don't forget to hit that like button if you guys enjoy it. If you want to see more stuff like this, I'm more than happy to do it. I mean, I will continue commenting physically on comments or replying to comments, as well as making these. If I make this video, doesn't mean that I'll stop responding to comments. I suppose the benefit of being a small YouTube channel is that I do have the time to respond to the majority of the comments, so you know, I don't get over flooded with them, so I do have that option available. Anyways, that's it from me for today, folks. I'll catch you in the next video, and until then, stay safe.